Hi, everybody. I hope this is all going well so far. We're going to get Sharon in here. My name is Alice Hart-Davis, and I'm looking forward to doing a webinar all about Skinstorm this evening. Now, Skinstorm is the most extraordinary new device that I have seen for a while in the aesthetic space. And hey, Sharon, there you are. Can you hear me? Yes. Fantastic.
How are you?
How very smart you look. We were discussing earlier whether to wear contrasting or complementing colours, and you look fantastic. Now, I seem to have got myself on screen as well as you was twice. I wonder if I can remove myself in some way, but now, sorry, that's Sia. Thank you, Sia, who has set this all up and is making sure it runs smoothly. So I'm not going to let you down, Sia. We're gonna get going. So Sharon, I mean, I don't know that I need to introduce you. I feel that as the founder of Crystal Clear and now the creator of Skinstorm, you are pretty well known to this community who have salons, who have clinics, who are individual practitioners in this area. And anybody who knows you will know that you are not somebody to just pick up an off-the-shelf device and add it to your repertoire. You know, you are one of those people who goes out and creates things and who sits there and wonders, I wonder if you put a bit of this with that, and then we did the other, and you come up with some really extraordinary stuff. And here is another example of it, because when I first heard about Skinstorm, I have to say, I thought, as I think some of our panelists might ask, oh, that looks interesting, but what's so different? But when you started to explain the differences to me, I thought, wow, incredible. And I came to try it and was blown away by it. People may have seen the video that we did about that. So I wanted to use this webinar as an opportunity to get you, as the creator of this extraordinary technology, to dig into it a bit deeper and look at all the ways in which it is so different, what makes it different, how you came up with all of this, how the skin can tolerate so many layerings of really potentially quite aggressive treatments and still be fine. Yes. And all of that. Does that sound about all right? Sorry, I haven't given you a chance.
Yeah, let's go for it. How long did you say, Alice, we're talking for?
I think if we talk for about 20 minutes and take questions, does that sound about right?
That sounds great.
Because the trouble is, I know when you and I get talking, we can talk. We can talk. So essentially, in a nutshell, what is Skinstorm?
Skinstorm is a method of treatment that allows 6 different elements. So it's all about treatment layering. Treatment layering is quite big now, but you know, quite often to treatment layer, the skin can be quite irritated. So I've come up with a device that allows us to do intensive treatment layering, but with keeping the skin very distressed. Great thing it treats each and every skin type and each and every skin concern. So it's offering such a vast array of different skin concerns to be treated, but with one system. So you don't have to have this for that and that for this. It allows you an all-in-one treatment system that really does and is achieving quite staggering results.
Yeah, and it's the thing I have to ask you up front is also, when you look at this at first, do you think, is this a bit like hydrofacial?
Yeah, we've had this joke, haven't we?
Yes.
Hydrofacial is a fab system, is great, but what I want to do, because we manufacture, and I've been in business now here for 27 years, gosh, it makes me feel really old.
27 years.
Wow.
27
years, it's a long time. So we develop and innovate, or certainly I do. And a lot of my clinics were saying, Sharon, what's your next system? Have you looked ahead of facial? Are you going to do anything like vortex cleansing? And as much as I love the idea of the vortex cleansing, it wasn't enough on its own for me to actually produce a system and sell that system into all of my clinics to treat lots of different varied skin concerns. But I like the function of it. So I sat about one night thinking, My best ideas, believe it or not, are always over a glass of wine. Not that I'm an alcoholic, wine is enough.
You just want that relaxed state of mind to let the ideas come, don't you?
And I remember thinking, right, I really like the idea of the vortex cleanse. Maybe I could do that as treatment one. What else could I combine with it? So we got to, right, okay, we can super cleanse, we can resurface, we can peel, we can micro needle, we can use high pressure to get product in the skin. But still, I wasn't quite sold on the vortex cleansing. So
okay,
I decided to use topical dissolved oxygen in all of my elements of treatment. So now I can offer a vortex style cleanse, but instead of it just using some peeling agents or AHAs with it, or niacinamide and vitamin C as my cleanser, I can now actually get the topical dissolved oxygen into that infusion. So it's quite, this is where our patent is on the system. It's quite an innovative system. In the containers that we have at the back of the system, we have a small generator, oxygen generator that sits underneath. And that infuses the solution with topical dissolved oxygen. We then cool that solution, because if you cool the solution, you hold the oxygen in there. So we'll start off, for example, with, say, I think it's about 96% oxygen in tap water that we start off with, it, say on our first element, which is our vortex cleansing, which is our oxygen cleansing. So we'll put some niacinamide and vitamin C cleanser in there. We infuse the solution underneath the jar with, it starts off with 96% oxygen in that infusion. By the time we start treatment, it's gone up to 186% oxygen saturation in that system. Now, what that's doing, the reason it's so important for me, yes, we all know what oxygen does, and we know that skin needs it, and we know that it revives the skin cells. But I wanted to, on that first vortex cleanse, most of my clinics, or a lot of my clinics, will be treating acne-prone skin or maybe a problematic skin. So I wanted to offer something that would actually benefit that skin. So where can we address the problem that's happening now with, certainly with acne-prone skin, and I know with my daughter, because I've treated her extensively over the years with active acne and acne scarring, you need to actually treat the problem at source. So with the oxygen, we're able to actually use a topical dissolved oxygen to go into the skin, to the sebaceous gland, to tell the cells in the sebaceous gland to go in there and mop up all of the bacteria. So not only are we treating the outer skin, because we're literally vacuuming deep-seated impurities into the solution, we're working inside out. And that really gave me the element to all of our treatments. So every single element, we're doing inside out treatment, we're doing the outside, but we're also treating the inside. So oxygen vortex cleansing now, it's a world's first, no one's ever done that.
That's really really clever. And you've got the patent on that. Yeah, okay, so that really is a fantastic new development, isn't it? Not just sounds good, you know, it sounds a bit baffling, but you know, there you've got something that's genuinely healing. And then you've incorporated this topical dissolved oxygen into everything else you do. And that's one of the key things of how, because I mean, the next question I suppose I wanted to move on and ask is how you add so many challenging treatments together without leaving the skin looking like a mess. Because I was convinced that by the end of ice needling, microdermabrasion, ice peeling, I would be looking like a beetroot, but I wasn't, was I?
No. And I think the important thing to remember with Skinstorm, it's a bespoke treatment. So if I've got a client coming in, she's got acne-prone skin, I'm going to spend more time on my vortex oxygen cleanse, my peeling and my resurfacing. But if I've got a client like me that's more concerned about aging, lax skin, losing that plumpness, lines and wrinkles, I'm still going to do the vortex cleanse because I want to super cleanse her skin and resurface, but I'm going to spend more time on the collagen rebuilding elements of the treatment. So therefore, each and every single element, every skin, well, most skin types, every skin color. But the interesting thing, so you'd vortex oxygen cleanse, then we go on to our resurfacing. So we resurface with volcanic crystals because in my opinion, I prefer the volcanic crystals to hit the skin, lift the skin cell off in a very precise way, so there's no guesswork involved, because I'm going to, after I've done my resurfacing, so for example, if I've got a problematic skin, I'm going to help clear up that sebum. If I've got an older skin, I'm actually going to smooth, and you can see the brightness right away. But the interesting thing about the Resurface and Heal, on my handset, I'm using red and blue light. So when I'm actually abrading the skin, if I've got the acne prone skin, I'm using blue light to further help me kill that bacteria. If I've got an aging skin, then I'm going to use the red light to help me heal, because everything I'm doing, I need to heal after that element to allow me to do that treatment layering. So the Resurface and Heal, you see the results straight away. It's really fresh. But then I'm going to go on to my ice peeling. Now, again, it's the world's first. Behind the system, we've got a jar that's filled with a really potent blend of AHAs. Those AHAs are infused with the topical dissolved oxygen, and they're chilled. So again, we hold the oxygen within the peeling solution. That allows us to actually create quite an intense peel, but without a lot of the irritation, because we're distressing the skin. So at every element that we do, we keep that skin distressed, and that's because of the cooled dissolvable oxygen.
Okay, and you can add the topical dissolved oxygen to the peeling solution without affecting the peeling capacity of the solution?
It's absolutely fine.
Wow. And is this something that Chris, your lovely chemist, has come up with? Because he's been working with you for about 10 years, hasn't he? So
I know Chris absolutely crazy, because we came up with this system in lockdown, and I think he was sick of listening to me going, oh, but what about this? Because if I'm going to do something, I really need to understand it. Otherwise, I just can't be excited about something. And, you know, he's one of the few people I've ever met. It's just so, he just knows everything. And I love his brain. I always say to him, I want your brain, because he really does understand where I'm coming from. I want it to be able to do this. I want it to be able to do that. How can we do that? What is the science? What's the proof?
But I would think that for him, that must be a rather fascinating challenge to have to work on. So rather than saying, you know, give me one of these, which he's mixed up a number of times before, you know, here is something he, under direction from you, has got to try and work out, you know, do the principles work? Does it work in effect? And that's the way you end up with something really new, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly, you come up with something bespoke, innovative. You know, I'm driving him mad now, because we're doing the show, the next coming aesthetic show, and he spoke to me earlier on and said, oh, should we meet the day before? And I went, yeah, that'd be perfect, Chris, because I want to do the medical range. I've got my ideas. I want a short range. And he's like, oh my God, I thought I was going to be resting, or
oh dear. Okay. And so sorry, I see the time is ticking by, and we said 20 minutes. We're going to need longer than this just to get through the steps. So after the microdermabrasion, you've got the ice peeling.
Yeah, so you've got your vortex oxygen cleansing, you've got your Resurface and Heal. Don't forget, you've got your light on there, so it's healing. A world's first. We're actually healing as we're working, which is brilliant for a lot of clinics out there that treat. Not everyone comes in for lines and wrinkles and fillers. A lot of clients now, certainly over 30 plus, are having hormonal changes in their skin and have an outbreak. So it's a great system to be able to operate. Also, perfect for, I mean, I love, sounds awful, I love treating acne prone skin, and I love scarring, because, you know, scarring, certainly some fibrous tissue left from acne, can really have a soul destroying effect on the confidence of a person. So to be able to actually help the outbreaks, but also smooth that scarring and blending is quite phenomenal with Skinstorm. We can certainly do that on your third element, such as your peeling, great for, again, the problem skin or the aging skin that just needs to unlock that intercellular glue and get that product into the skin and really help the skin look really bright and alive. And I think that's what you noticed when we treated you, Alice. You've got beautiful skin, but your skin looked really
very fresh. Thank you. It looked very fresh, and it also looked very calm and lovely and pale, which I had not expected, because these are not little pretend treatments. They're all very decent treatments in their own right. it's a difficult balance when talking about this whole thing, because I love something like that, which the challenge of how much can you challenge and stress out the skin while calming it down to pack in as much effect into a treatment. But as you've said already, and I think we do need to stress, this is incredibly adaptable. So for people with acne, for people with sensitive skins, you haven't got to throw everything at them, have you? You can just take the elements that will help them most and, you know, work on whatever is going to be most beneficial to them.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And then the next element that we use our ice micro needling. Now, as we know, micro needling, and when we first spoke, has been around quite a while.
Yes.
And we all understand that the micro needling will certainly cause the trauma to the skin, can stimulate new collagen. However, I personally find micro needling quite brutal.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, it is brutal, isn't it? You're making thousands and thousands of tiny holes, and that is what creates the healing response, wound healing, because you're literally wounding the skin. And I wasn't looking forward to trying it with no numbing cream, because it's not something I've tried before.
Well, I remember my friend who's an aesthetic doctor. She'd got to half my face, this is years ago, with a roller, and it was like, no, get off, leave me alone. I'm just a woman. I found it uncomfortable. However, I love the principle of the wound healing. I love the fact that you really can get some dramatic results. However, what I wanted to do with our micro needling was, one, take the pain away, but two, get something into the skin. So effectively, we've come up with, again, the topical dissolved oxygen is fed into the infusion that sits behind the system. In your infusion, you have hyaluronic acid, you have vitamin C in a stabilized form. So, you know, there's lots of things about vitamin C. Oh, we use 10%, we use 15%. Well, unless it's stabilized, it's not really going to go into the skin. What we do with our vitamin C, it's like a molecule, this hat comes off when it's in the skin, and it's on a time release formula. So it's not, normally I refer to vitamin C as sacrificial. As soon as you apply it, it's gone. Well, it's like standing in front of the bus, knocking me over. But with ours, it actually doesn't hit this, it doesn't do anything till it's actually in the skin, and then it's on a sustained release. So if we're treating pigmentation, just trying to brighten the skin, it's actually working. So we've got the low weight, high weight hyaluronic, and then we've got something called, we call it F10, which is a new cosmetic drone delivery system. And then it's a really exciting ingredient because it's a peptide with a ligand attached. So effectively, I class it like a satellite navigation to your skin. It goes directly, it knows where it's going, it goes directly to the fibroblast cell and tells the fibroblast cell to actually stimulate more hyaluronic. So where we spoke before about the inside-outside treatment, we are popping the product on the top and the surface layers, but we're also getting the skin to not only create the wound healing effect, but also with that cosmetic drone technology, we're making the fibroblast do its job. So that comes through there. So we've got the serum, it's infused with the topical dissolved oxygen, and then we have the roller. So the serum is coming out through the needle. There's tiny little needles in the roller. So at that site of impact where we make the tiny holes, channels in the skin, the topical oxygen is going in, and the potent serum is going in. So effectively, it's not the same as just popping a bit of product on and then needling it in. It's going in simultaneously. As the topical dissolved oxygen, because it's chilled, it's keeping the skin really cool. So as you said, Alice, you don't need anesthetic.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be unduly loads of erythema.
No, and it was fine, and you know, I was not very helpful for the videographer. I had my camera on trying to do selfies all the way through as well, and it just didn't flame up or anything, and it felt fine. It was cold, it was prickly, but it was absolutely fine. And then what comes after? There's a lovely mask at some point, and then there's the extraordinary pushing, using the oxygen blast to push your special serums into the skin. So which place is next? I can't remember.
Do your micro channeling, and then all different needle sizes depending on what we're treating. Again, it's bespoke. Then we do your high pressure injection, which I say is like my, I love Profiler, but I class it as my sort of injection without my needle, because you use high pressure injection to push the product under the skin. So it's fabulous for immediately plumping the skin. The skin is really fresh. The product is sitting in the outer layers. And again, we're including that topically infused concoction of hyaluronic serum and vitamin C and the F10. And then we apply our lovely mask. But what I have missed out between all of this, after every single element, we also use red, near infrared light.
Yes, the light. Mm.
We use infrared at 850 nanometers along with green light, because after each element we want to heal the skin. So it's all about healing to treat again. So calm the skin to hit it again. And it's really important that we do that. So we'll apply the light, and it's just quite portable, like this sits over the head of the client. It all comes with the system, and we'll leave that for depending on what we're treating, and then we go on to the next element. So after every element, not only are we keeping the skin distressed with topical dissolved oxygen and the coolness, but we're also keeping it very distressed and helping it heal with the light therapy.
Yeah. So it's fantastically versatile as well as innovative system, isn't it? And what sort of clinic is this best for? Because it sounds like it's something that it would do quite well in a surgical clinic even, but is it too much for a single sort of person practice to clinic salon to take on their own?
Gosh, no, we've got lots. So certainly after COVID, we had a lot of clients that decided just to get to set up on their own. And they have their big clinics and they just downsize. So we still have a lot of independent practitioners that are just them and their systems. You know, I've got one lady that is booked up till next year. She's amazing. She has been voted as one of the best facialists apparently, but she is an amazing therapist. But she's a skincare practitioner, but she knows her stuff and she's really busy. So, and then she's one-man business. I always call it one-man band. It's a one-man business. Yeah. But also it's fantastic for clinics that are offering aesthetic fillers, Botox and surgery, because we all forget it's about the skin. You know, it's not just about filling a few lines out, plumping the skin or injecting for firmness. It's about how the skin looks. And I was speaking to a really renowned plastic surgeon who's going to take our systems for his new hospital.
Brilliant.
And he was, you know, how do we fit in there? Well, we're going to fit in prior to facial surgery, having your facelift or having your eyes done or having any. We're going to treat the skin prior, or his practitioners will. So the skin is in the optimal state prior to them doing surgery, and then afterwards, because that will control any pigmentary changes they may have, any scarring issues that they may have. So it's about combining it in different ways. And you know, I always say, even after a facelift, it's still the skin. You know, you can tighten, but it's. I always feel when you look at someone, it's the quality of the skin you notice. I don't necessarily notice that they've got some lines and wrinkles when they smile or they have some laxity. I'll pick up on the quality of their skin. Sure. And I think that's what Skinstorm is all about. It's encompassing that whole spectrum of being able to have the most amazing skin, but combining it with other treatments also. Or just standalone treatments for clients. We would get so many clients that are going to the special event, they've got acne, or they've got pigmentation, or they don't want fillers and they don't want surgery, but they just want the best skin that they can possibly have. So it really does allow you to treat everything.
Yeah, it's such a good point about the skin, because it is like keeping the fabric of your face in good condition as well as the structure, and because that will help reflect the light, it will help, you know, with the healing after any procedure. No, you're absolutely right. The good skin is fundamental, and it's very much how, on an evolutionary level, our brain judges someone's health and age by the quality of their skin. You know, is it pigmented? Is it dry? Is it looking unhappy in any way. So yeah, that's another reason I think we all love it. And so Sharon, what do the clients say about this sort of treatment when they've been through it? So it's not just me raving about it. What kind of thing do people come back and tell you?
We are having the most amazing results. And I suppose my biggest one was the surgeon that I treated a few weeks ago, because it's always a bit nerve-wracking treating a plastic surgery, because you think, oh God, you know, that's normally you're on the opposite side.
Yes.
I texted him a couple of days later and said, oh, how's your skin? And he went, everyone's noticed.
Oh,
that was brilliant.
That's all you need.
And he had nice skin. He had good skin anyway,
Oh, okay.
but it's really good. So yeah, the end results are phenomenal. You can really see a difference, but more importantly, you see that difference without stress to the skin. When this treatment, when we were formulating it, Chris and I, when we were inventing the first systems, or certainly the products, we wanted a way of stressing the skin without creating heat.
Sure. Okay.
Create heat.
Yeah.
And whilst that does create the stimulation needed, sometimes it can have untoward effects that we don't particularly want. Where we decided that we wanted to go the opposite spectrum and create that stimulation, but using ice and coldness oxygen.
Well, it's a lovely change to have that there. There's one question coming, excuse me, with so many elements in this. The viewer asked how she can imagine the training could take a while. So how long is the training, and can you do this online, or is it face to face?
No. Yeah, no, it's in our training school. We normally have 2 full days or 3 full days of, depending on the level of the practitioner. You know, if they've been doing some micro channeling with our other systems, or they're used to that sort of machine-based treatments, but not at least 2 days. Okay. And then ongoing training online. Okay,
so you need a good deal of training, but then you as a company, I know, are able to help people immensely with getting the word out there. I know since putting out the video that I put on Instagram last week, there's a lot of people coming in saying, where's the nearest one to me? And I have to refer them all back to you, because you have got people already around the country, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you will have more.
Yes, because we were so established and we've got so many clinics anyway. Well, we've managed to, we launched late, well, beginning of this year actually. So we've got quite a lot of Skinstorm clinics. The good thing about what we do, we don't just, it sounds like a sales slogan, it isn't, honestly, for years. We don't just sell great systems, we really do try and help you build your business, because it's really important to me that what can we do? Most clinic owners are busy, they don't get time to do their social assets, they don't get time to do their marketing. So wherever we can support, we will. We have our marketing hub, we have quite a big marketing team now, and we have a marketing hub that's just there to help make sure you've got your assets, anything that you want to use. Anything that you want to use. You know, we do a lot of social media, social activity on our Instagram and on our Facebook. So salons can literally just lift, or clinics just lift that and use it in their own clinic. You know, do they need posters? My daughter does a lot of our social media, so she'll get clinics asking her, can you just do me this asset? I just need this. So we are trying to really support. Plus, we do paid advertising for our treatments on Facebook and Instagram, and how that works. It just generates clients looking for their nearest clinic.
Okay, so then they can come through.
Yes. So it's really important to us that we get the name out there, we get clients asking our clinics for the treatment, because to us, that we're all in it to build our businesses. That helps us sell a lot more systems if we've got clients actually wanting the treatments, and our clinics are sure to be busy with those treatments as well. So it's really important. By the way, we don't always get it right. We do try.
you try really hard. I mean, it's fantastic to have that sort of reservoir of materials that people can use, because I know if you're trying to run a business on your own, you know, you have usually got your hands too full to be out there creating stuff yourself. And in terms of how often people might come for treatment, is it a one-off every now and again? Is it a regular course? What's the best thing?
The fab thing about Skinstorm you know, if you've got a client that's worried about their skin or their skin tone, or they've got lines and wrinkles, or maybe they've got some scarring or pigmentation, no, we would advise you'll see a result there and then, but we'd advise a course of 5 treatments done every 2 weeks, because it takes between 1 and 15 days for the skin to really recover, and then we hit the skin again. However, we do a lot of red carpet facials, we do a lot of celebs with the treatment. So, you know, certainly our celebs will have it done if they're going somewhere special. And that way I won't, with my micro channeling part, I'll normally maybe use a 0.5 or 0.75 needle. So I know it's going to be quite gentle on the skin. Yes. So they go away looking amazing. And then obviously the next day they can go to their event and they look fab. So
terrific, yeah.
And that's why for clinics, it really is that bespoke treatment where, you know, the days are gone of just having one treatment. This is your training manual and this is what you do. It's about looking at the client, talking to the client and finding out, well, okay, how can we help you? What do you need for your skin? Oh, you've got acne, you know, you're having some more hormonal breakouts, or maybe you've got some scarring. I'm going to do this, but I've got an aging skin on the other hand, who's concerned about, can't have Botox like me at the moment, and I've got lines on my head. What can we do for you? So it's all about creating that bespoke facial for that client. And then if I've got a client who's having surgery, I'm really going to ramp it up because I want her skin to be optimal, best it can possibly be before she has surgery, because she's going to be so pleased afterwards.
Yeah, and I think all surgeons would thank you on that, because they often say, you know, people think they can just come in and get the skin done. If the skin is in better quality, you know, they will heal faster and they'll have a better result in the end, which is to everybody's benefit. Sharon, there's a question about the drone technology in the peptide. Could you, with the ligand on it, could you explain that again? Is it a new product, is the question, because the viewer says she hasn't heard of this before, and I think probably you haven't heard of it before because it's something that you've come up with. But it's, you know, like with peptides, they're all kind of like keys to fit into a particular lock and switch something on. So, but this is one step beyond, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a company called Infotech that actually formulate RF10. We mix it with some other product ingredients that I'm not going to say, but how that works is that they're all about delivery systems. So it's all about how, certainly as cosmetic chemists, you know, having the holy grail is how can we get the product into the skin? Do we want the product to go into the skin? Where do you want it to go into the skin? And what's it going to do when it's in the skin? So very much so, a lot of the time it's trying to make sure that we can do something that's stimulating the skin at the lower levels where it needs to go. And as much as we use hyaluronic, and hyaluronic is fabulous, low weight and high weight sits on the skin, low weight penetrates, still doesn't penetrate to where we need it to be. But certainly with the new Infotech cosmetic drone, it really is like the sat nav for the skin, because it is a peptide and it has a ligand. It's a molecule. It literally attaches itself to the fibroblast cell. It knows to go there. Okay. And to be honest, when we first developed our serum, I developed it without this ingredient, and then I was talking to the chemist, and we were right at the end of our formulation for Skinstorm, and he was showing me the technology. Then at night I sit in bed, and you know, the way you do, you start looking up. I looked at all their research, I looked at how it worked, and I was just totally blown away, and which takes a lot because I'm not normally with ingredients, but I was totally blown away about how that worked and how it works in the skin. And it's a really interesting concept. There are a few, well, there's probably a handful of companies that are using the ingredient, mainly in skincare products that you use topically after. But why I'm excited about using it is because I'm needling it into the skin.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm really getting that product where it needs to be. So it's quite an exciting cosmetic drone technology.
Yes,
drone technology it's in its infancy. It's really going to grow.
Terrific, thank you. There's one more question which we'll put in there. Are you okay to do that? And then we should probably draw to a close. If anybody else watching has got more questions, do pop them in right now while you've got Sharon here. The attendee says, I have crystal clear concrete system. I bought a few years ago. My clients love this treatment and the results are incredible. However, I would love to take a look further into Skinstorm. Would it be a possibility to trade in the concrete system?
Well, I didn't expect to be selling on here tonight, but yes, most definitely. We've got a lot of clinics that currently have our comp kit, which is part of Skinstorm, or certainly the old part, because now it's topical dissolved oxygen comp kit. So yes, we are doing trade-ins because we have so many clinics out there that are currently with our older systems.
Terrific, thank you. I also wanted to ask if people are interested in making inquiries further into this. Does it take a long time to order them? Do you have to have them built one by one? How does all that work?
Gosh, well, there is an ordering time, obviously, because I must admit we've been very touched with. We've been exceptionally busy, which is great. And there's normally a lead time, so we're probably looking at about 4 weeks.
Yeah, and so should people apply to you to find out how much it costs and trade-ins and all
yeah,
the
we do trade-ins, we do leasing deals, so we can arrange the leasing for clinics. We pretty much do as much as we can for the clinics. Yeah,
terrific. And last question here is, how much does it cost as a clinic to perform the treatment, and how much do you recommend to charge? I mean, I'm sure that varies around the country. Is that something you can answer?
Oh, it's very difficult to answer precisely. Our Harley Street clinics will probably charge $350 plus, but a clinic in the northwest is probably going to be about £180–200. So it very much depends on exactly where the clinic is located.
Fantastic, thank you. Oh, and Carlo has just popped in to say we went for training and it was amazing.
Okay,
love it. So we got a big thumbs up from there. That is brilliant. Well, Sharon, thank you so much. I know we can talk on, but I feel this will be, we could always do it again, but it'd be a more attractive proposition for people who want a quick catch up if they see a nice short webinar to watch rather than us talking for 2
Oh, I know, otherwise you'd be asleep.
No, but congratulations, because it really is a fascinating, really new, really interesting, really different piece of kit. And
thank you for having me.
This is brilliant. Well, we'll save this, and thank you everyone for joining. Really nice to have you along, and Sharon, good luck and see you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye.